Hey everyone, welcome to Your First Digital Product, a show that helps maxed out service providers create their first digital product so they can gain an additional income stream, grow their impact without increasing one-on-one work, and experience more time freedom. On the show, I talk to business owners who have launched digital products and dig deep into how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. I'm your host, Renee Morozowicz. Let's go. Hey everybody, I am so excited to be here today with Sara Loretta. Sara is the 10th certified Notion consultant in the US and for the past decade has made it her mission to help freelancers evolve into badass CEOs using strategic processes through her systems method. Hey Sara.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm on my fourth coffee of the day, so I'm living
Ooh,
the dream right now.
right, you're making it work. And this is a Friday for all of you guys listening. So I didn't know if it was a good idea to record on a Friday or not, but we're going to see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't do any public work on Fridays. So for
Ooh.
me, this is great because it's just like my kind of catch-all admin creative brainstorm day. So
Yeah, I thought it'd be nice to have just like a nice juicy conversation on a Friday. So that's kind of why I opened up slots on Fridays. I normally didn't have them, but
Mhm.
I don't know, I just feel like
I'm
it
enjoying it.
seems like it's gonna be a good thing. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally.
tell us about your first digital product. So what was it and who was it for and what problem did it solve? All the things.
Totally. Yeah, so a little bit of a background. So I started freelancing in 2018, kind of on a whim. I couldn't find a new job and I hated my job. And so I took all of my skills and said, where could I kind of do this for other people? And I quickly fell into the design world. For full transparency, I was a communications director and I was doing data and all of these things. So I kind of had been playing around with, Canva and, just expanding those skills, if you will.
Mm.
And so I started going to all of our partners and said, what can I do for y'all? And within 6 months, I mean, it blew up. I had 40 clients in 6 months,
Ooh,
which was
amazing.
insane coming from the nonprofit world. No one really has these skills. It's not something that's usually grant written. And so, you don't have many people that are creative on your
Mhm.
teams. And so I'd started freelancing and I had ended up working with like a local historical home and that they were like, "Can you do websites?" And I'm like, "Sure." And before I knew it, I had a design agency and I was doing branding and packaging and web design. And through all of that, I actually was using Trello. I used Trello in
Mhm.
undergrad but I hated it. Like for my neurodivergent brain, Trello just wasn't working. And so randomly I had found Notion. I had like Googled productivity, and
Mhm.
tools and Notion came up and I started using Notion. And at the time I had a YouTube channel that was kind of starting to grow similarly, on the same side as all of my other stuff. And I had filmed a video on like, here's how I
Mhm.
use Notion to run my business, like whatever. Like it was just like a stupid video, right?
Mhm.
And I had someone from Ireland email me and was like, "Can you build my Notion account?" And I'm like,
Ooh.
"No, like I do branding. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know what that
Yeah.
means, right? Like I no." And I was really nice about it and she ended up emailing me 8 times before I
Ooh.
said yes. And I was petrified. I was like, "Listen, I've never done this before," but I knew from my background of always saying yes and just taking new products or projects, I should say, and really just like, if it feels good, like say yes to it, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of my baseline for everything that I
Mhm.
do is as long as it feels good, I'm going to try it out.
Mhm.
And so this poor girl, she also had a design agency. She still does, and she's so freaking talented. But I finally said yes. And I said, listen, if you're asking for this, because at the time, no creatives were really on Notion. It was
Okay.
really at this time, it was a lot of like students and personal task management. Like some companies were using it, but from our standpoint of being creative freelancers, no one was really on it yet.
Mhm.
And so I said, okay, well, if you are wanting this, chances are other people are. And that video on my YouTube channel was starting to take off. And so I'd made an agreement with her and I was like, look, if we're going to do this, like, let me turn them into templates. I'll charge you less for it because I know I'm going to make money on this long term. Like, I
Mhm.
had that feeling. And so what I ended up building for her was my technical first digital product, which was called Notion for Designers. It was a 40 plus template bundle that was built as an entire operating system. So it was pretty much like you click duplicate and
Mhm.
plug in your data and go on your way. There were client portals, CRM, mood board templates, like literally everything you could think of was in this product. And so I was in a couple of like design groups. There was one design group on Slack that I was super active in. And I said, hey, like I built this thing, like, if you want it, just I'll give it away for like like 10 people for free, right?
Mhm.
And I had put at the time like Notion templates. I mean, I still think that it's a problem, but people don't really charge a lot for Notion templates.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I don't really know what to charge for a digital product because I've never had one. And so I slapped a $60 price tag on it, and before I knew it, I had over 500 downloads on it,
Ooh.
which I never upped the price. So really
Mhm.
thinking about like $67. And then I had people who had agencies come to me and say, hey, like, this is great, but we need it for our team. So then I launched my second digital product, Notion for Agencies. And that's when I started like changing the price on it and really thinking about, how can I better serve these people?
Mhm.
But so the audience was really interesting because I had one product that I kind of like built on a whim and was selling on a whim, and it was doing really well. But I had other people looking at it and saying, "Hey, this isn't for us, but we want you to do this other thing." And so
Mhm.
really quickly Notion for Designers shifted into there was designers and then there was agencies. And it was very clear like if you're a freelancer, solopreneur, or an agency, like that's the one you buy. Um and it got so popular, we ended up creating a community for it that, we reached, I think, 1,100 people before I shut
Ooh.
it down. And also Notion came to me, so you kinda touched on it in my bio, but Notion had heard about it, and they invited me to go through their certified Notion consultant program, um, which was not on my radar. I
Mhm.
was like, "I make packaging and design website." And I ended up going through it earlier in 2022, so I think I went through it in January, and I became the 10th certified Notion consultant in the US, the 40th in the world. Just happened to be that number, which is, like, kinda cool, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't, like, seek it out. But what I realized, in this first product and kind of my experience within the Notion world is that designers are usually forgotten when it comes to productivity tools.
Yes. Mhm.
We are pretty much kind of on our own building out what we do, but everybody pretty much has the same process, right? We
Mhm.
have onboarding, client management, offboarding, retainer slash retention,
Mhm.
right? And so it was really easy for me to create a product that built kind of this bracket or bubble around us that you could still customize based on how you do onboarding or how
Mhm.
you do client management, but it was focused on you and being a client based business, which so many softwares get wrong, or they're too broad. And so now, people that are in my community, in my audience, are coming from Dubstato because Dubstato's lacking XYZ.
Mhm.
They got HoneyBook for $1 because HoneyBook was on
Yes.
sale, but they can't do
Mhm.
XYZ. And so it's really been fun to really mold this product and follow kind of the trajectory of where our audience is going. Um, and really continue to solve those problems, right? So I just built well, actually let me share about the transition of Notion for Designers too.
Yeah.
Because I think, one thing that we learned after we had about 500 downloads on Notion for Designers, we have like 300 on Notion for Agencies, is that I was building it as a complete operating system because so many people were saying, hey, like Notion's open source. It's really overwhelming. It's really confusing. We just want to go in there like we do Dubsado and go on our way, right? That's
Mhm.
how I had built because that was the response I was getting. But then when we plateaued, it's like, okay, like what's wrong? What is wrong? Because this was my number one like money maker for the last
Mhm.
year. Like I was making good money on it. We were doing like 2 downloads a week, easy $500 weeks. Like
Yeah.
no, not even thinking about it, right? And so I sat with a bunch of people that bought it, that had bought Notion for Designers. I was like, what is wrong? Like, why is this not selling anymore? And I kind of was like begging a little bit because I was like, I've never marketed this. Like, I
Mhm.
told 10 people about it and it took off like wildfire. I've never done an ad. I think I've maybe done 3 social media posts about it in 2 years. Like, I've never marketed it. And so I'm asking people, like, I don't understand, like, what is wrong? And every single person, I sat with 8 people, every single person said the complete opposite of what I had built for them, which was, we love this, but there's XYZ that we don't need. And
Oh.
so we basically came up with what is now the first ever Notion template subscription. And it's a plug and play. So it's all of the templates you love and know that was in Notion for Designers, but you can decide at what point you're ready. So if you
Oh.
just want to start with client
Mhm.
portals, you can start with them. If you're ready to grow your business and you need operations and HR, you go grab those templates and you come in. Instead of consistently deep diving into what is the
Mm.
Notion template creator space, everybody builds differently. So now Notion for Designers is streamlined into a content subscription is technically
Mm.
what it is. It's an ARR product, so annual recurring revenue. People pay for a year. You have unlimited access. I add new templates every month. Um, and you can request templates from me. And it's the same price that Notion for Designers ended on. So you can buy it one time for $197 or just reoccur every year at $197. So we really learned that like the creator space is shifting. The freelance client-based businesses are shifting in the way that they handle communication, interaction. And so being kind of ahead of that has been really helpful to say like, hey, what can I do better for you guys? Like
Mhm.
I have my methodologies. I'm the Notion expert. How can I make this as seamless as possible for you? So that's what we're doing. That's where we've been and where we're going.
Yeah, I love a lot of those things there. I love that people were asking for something and you responded, maybe hesitantly at
Hmm.
first, but you responded with like, okay, like I can fulfill this need if it was interesting to you. I love that sort of
Hmm.
like I'm not a huge fan of the say yes to everything, but like you said, like say yes to if it feels good. Like go
Right.
towards the things that are interesting to you. Like
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Well,
Um
and I think to that point, for me, I should say, like, I have a history degree. My dream was to work at the Smithsonian, right? And so when I kind of landed in the creative space, I had no idea what was even out there. Like, I didn't seek out building websites, I didn't
Mhm.
seek out even being an entrepreneur. That was never on my radar. And so for me, I say yes to things because I don't know what my potential is. I don't
Mhm.
know, like, for instance, I wouldn't know if I liked email marketing. Maybe I love building email templates and
Yes.
I wouldn't know until I picked up that
Until you
project
tried
and
it.
said yes to it. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what I meant from that.
Yeah.
And I think too, like, you don't need to niche down. I think that's like a huge, I guess, like pain point in our
Mhm.
industry is like you either need to so niche down or you don't. And that was a big thing of why Notion for Designers is now Systems OS and it's a content subscription because you don't have to be a designer to
Mhm.
purchase it. Like you can benefit from my methodologies and my expertise if you're a social media manager. So I only focus on client based businesses as a
Mhm.
broad term because I know that my expertise can benefit more than one industry. And I think when you're creating digital products, you know, we tend to kind of pigeonhole ourselves and
Mhm.
not realize that we are. And so if you are considering creating a digital product, list out your skills, list out what you're making money on already, and then broaden it so you can niche out in order to niche down. And
Mhm.
that's just my opinion, I guess. My
Yeah, for
spicy
sure.
take.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Yes. And
Yeah.
I just love that there are so many different experiences, so many different
Mhm.
paths, like, and really it's finding the path that works for you, but try like you can't find the
Yep.
path until you try the things. So, yeah,
Exactly.
the same thing, yeah, with
Exactly.
email marketing, like I
Mhm.
love email marketing, but yeah, if I had never done
Yeah.
it, how would I have known that I liked it? Yeah, and there could
Right.
be other things that I like, but I don't
Right.
know because I
And I
haven't
think
tried
it
them.
goes the same way with digital products. Like, I just happened to luck out. Like, I did not set a goal for this. I was like,
Mhm.
this is going to be my number one thing. I just tried it. And I think, since then, I've had other things that have completely failed. And so I think when, you're creating your first digital product or your second, like, just going in with the mindset that if you just impact one person, then you impact one person. Like, not everything is going to be what we're seeing online with these creators who are making tens of thousands of dollars
Mhm.
because they had a bunch of failed products before this one that you're seeing that income on.
Right.
So, but you have to be
Yes.
willing to mold from that if it doesn't work,
Yes,
and
yeah,
look
this
at the
sort of
data.
iterative process. And I like, I'm not sure your experience, like how long
Mhm.
it took to create things, but
Mhm.
this sort of like, I'm kind of like anti course. Like this
Yeah.
sort of like, I'm going to carve out, like, I'm going to go into like a bunker for the next year and
Mhm.
create this course. It takes forever. Like, I just don't think that's a great way to go.
No.
So I love things that they're smaller. They're also easier for
Mhm.
people to digest, right? These like,
Mhm.
so like a template is easy. And I love this. That's the other thing I wanted to say that, because I've used some, I haven't used the systems you mentioned, but other systems where like, I don't need, three-quarters of these features. And wouldn't it be great if I didn't even have to see them?
Right.
Wouldn't it be great if I didn't even have to dig for the ones that I wanted? I could just,
Mhm.
take one, use it. Okay, I feel good.
Bite-sized
Maybe I'm ready for
pieces.
another. Yes,
Yep.
yeah. I think that is
Yeah.
just
That's where I totally agree with you. Oh my God. I think that is the downfall of most creators is they spend all this time thinking this is going to be the greatest thing and I've got to spend 6 months developing it, but haven't told a single soul that
yes,
they're working on it.
exactly. Right.
You have to pre-sell. And that's why
Mhm,
like I said, I created mine. I literally had this girl email me 8 times.
mhm,
8 times before I said yes, and I'm like, "Okay, well, if she's asking this much for it, chances are other people need it." But my theory is if I come up with an idea, like I don't know what the term is, I'm constantly creating ideas, like, I'm a visionary,
yes,
that's
yeah.
my
Mhm,
Myers-Briggs,
mhm,
classification, I'm a serial brainstormer. And so my team and I, we kind of have this agreement that it's like, if it cannot be thought of, completely built out and marketed within a week, we don't focus on it.
ooh,
And
I
in
like
the
that.
sense of like, if I could put up a quick sales page, pre-sell it, call it a day, like that's it. And we have another lead magnet, which is my annual mapping workshop that we tested as a live stream on my YouTube channel over the summer. It went like wild. And so we're like, okay, cool. Like if we're going to do this, let's put a price tag on it and see what it does. And again, you develop it one time. I already have the live stream. So I
Mhm.
literally just downloaded it, edited it, and now I sell it. And that's it. And it's done. And so that's, I think, the biggest downfall is like, don't spend your entire life
Yes.
creating something.
Mhm,
If people are asking for it, make it. If you
mhm,
post and say, hey, I'm thinking about creating, I don't know, like a guide or an
mhm.
ebook, and no one responds, don't waste your time on it.
Right,
Just
right.
just don't, you
Yes,
know?
you're right, that validation, and it's
Yeah.
solving a specific problem too, or a problem that people care about. Like, I think a lot of
Mhm.
products solve problems, but they're not problems that people, like, actually have, right? Or the
Yes.
things that people just don't care about. So,
Yeah.
what are those actual things that people care about? And asking them, or
Mhm.
just letting them tell you and taking it in, I think is a great way
Mhm.
to come up with these ideas that are actually going to work.
Yeah. Or
Because really
focusing on
that's what
problems that people are afraid to admit that they have.
Oh, that's a
That's
good
why I think a lot of creators, we can touch on a very specific problem we know our
Mhm,
audience has. Like I know for a fact that creatives work in chaos. Okay. It's just,
mhm,
it is what it is. A lot of creators are like, if you put me in a box, like I'm not going to be as creative. But it's like, no, like we can take the chaos out so you can be more creative. And that
mhm,
is a consistent problem that I think a lot of people don't want to admit that they have.
mhm,
And so they drag their feet. And so that's a lot of the issues with lead magnets and lower ticket um, products is like yes, you can tackle a problem head on, but you also need to be kind of kind about it and a little
mhm.
bit broad about it and get them into a larger funnel and a larger offer. Like this should just be a little tiptoe and call it a day.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. I often think about creatives, it seems kind of like I've noticed it with, like, numbers, like, I like numbers, I like math, all this kinda stuff, but people who identify as more creative, they're kind of, like, anti-numbers and, like,
Yes.
anti-math, like, you can only be one or the other, like,
Mhm.
which doesn't, I don't know, make sense
It
to me,
doesn't
but
make any sense. But
yeah.
it's like, how are you wanna earn 6 figures, you gotta
Yes,
kinda be a little bit of a math
yes,
person.
exactly, right, some math, right, yes, is important. Okay, so how did
Totally.
you build more audience? Like, so you launched the products,
Mhm.
you had some people around you have asked for some things, you
Mhm.
shared some things and people are buying. How, like, what are you doing now to kind of keep it going? Are you getting people on an email list or,
Yeah.
uh, you know, what are some other things, marketing activities, I guess, that happen, if any?
Great question, because I don't have a marketing strategy. No. We really have kind of taken a back seat on cold marketing. That is
Mhm,
not something I'm interested in. And so we've really been focusing the last like 6 months on building a newsletter because
mhm,
you got to think, I didn't have a funnel set up. I didn't have a follow up. You bought this product through Gumroad, which automatically get your email.
Mhm.
and I never did anything with these people. Like, I had a feedback survey kind of built in, but I didn't force people to give me data.
Mhm.
Um, and so I really, with all the like kind of uncertainty with Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of these
Yes.
things, I really, was like, what can we do differently to build this audience and really say like, hey, we value your opinion, we value your feedback, but we also like want to be more one-on-one with you. And so I've been really diligent the last probably 5, 6 months of building my newsletter. I send it every Thursday, like clockwork. And I talk about, I tell everybody, and it's kind of a joke, but not really, that at some point you are going to cry when you work with me. I make every client cry at some
Nice.
point. Good tears, right? Because you're
Yes.
realizing, like, oh, I'm going through this evolution, I'm going through this
Mhm.
change. And it's the same with the products I have. Like, I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm not here to put you up on a pedestal. I am here for you to do the hard work
Mhm.
and actually evolve. Because what's the point of you paying me like if you're not going to change, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
that's like my biggest issue that I have with coaching is like I don't need to be told how good I am. I don't need to be consistently reminded that like I'm dope and I have a great brand. Like, great, cool, let's move on, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
let's do
What
the
else?
harder things. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had a
I already
coach
know
that
that.
it just like I spent $17,000 on a coaching program last year that taught me nothing, right? And
Mhm.
so I've really from that, I learned, I have to make my audience uncomfortable and really dive deep into those problems that they don't want to admit themselves,
Mhm.
right? So I get you in the door with some feel good stuff, like really surface level things. And then when you come in, it's like I make you uncomfortable because it's like, listen, like we're going to change. Like
Mhm.
you're not here just to get a fun little newsletter. And so like I have kind of a fun running joke of like what my asshole policies are of, if you don't show up to a discovery call, I'm declining all future work. If you can't communicate for a 30-minute call, it's I don't want your money.
Mhm.
And so it's we talk about things like that that I think keep my audience engaged, like on their toes, like, oh my God, what is Sarah going to talk about next? Like, I can't believe she's
Yeah.
saying these controversial things. So of course we sell in the newsletter. Twitter's been doing really well for me with threads. I'm kind of newer
Mhm.
to the Twitter kind of
Mhm.
space.
People love Notion
Um,
on Twitter. People are talking Notion all day long
yeah,
on Twitter. Everything's
yeah.
Notion, 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 Notion.
Yep,
So
but
that's
it's
good.
interesting because I don't just talk about Notion, right?
Mhm.
So I really honestly I'm very controversial when I say I don't really give a shit what platform you use, right?
Mhm.
Because systems matter. It doesn't matter where you execute those systems at. But if you need help with those systems, I have Notion stuff to kind of help you. So I make
Mhm.
that really clear too that like you can be a part of my audience whether you use Notion or not, but just
Mhm.
know you're gonna get Notion stuff put at you to like make life a little easier, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah, and systems are so important. Like people it's nobody is, goes along and says, "Oh, I wish I had waited to create this
Yeah.
system for my business," right? The only thing people ever say is, "I wish I would have started this
Yep.
sooner," from the
Yep.
beginning. But any kind of system for anything, just
Mhm.
repeatable, like this mental load of, I think, being a service provider and being a creative and creating all the things and working with all the clients, like, to
Mhm.
be able to offload some of that stuff,
Yep.
with some systems, I think is
Yep.
so valuable for people.
Yep.
Yeah. Put me in a
Yep.
box
And
of
that's why,
system.
my systems method, that's kind of the bottom line for
Mhm.
everything I do. Everything I teach includes this three-step process. So it's take the feedback, audit the feedback, implement your changes. And so every system I talk about, any topic I talk about, literally follows that. And if you really think about it from a bird's eye view, it can be so simple to implement a system and to make it better if you just like minimize how much you go through and you simplify the way that
Yes.
you do it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, simplify. I think we make things so
mm,
complicated too. We're like, "Oh, let's add all the," especially with the
mm,
digital products. You're like, "Well, we wanna give so much more to people. Let's
yep,
add bells and whistles," and nobody wants, no, you don't have time for it. They don't
yep,
need it. Like, just simplify, simplify.
hmm,
I think it's so important.
hmm,
So, okay, so people, so you mentioned you had a design business. Do you still have
hmm,
that? Like, so how is this kind of like you're doing both of these things? How is
sure,
your business if people, so people, become a member, like, is there a way to work with you, like maybe one-on-one more in depth? Like, what
sure.
else is there, I guess, other
Yeah.
than these products? You have the products, they're
Yeah,
good.
totally.
What's the rest of the picture?
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. Because after I became a certified Notion consultant, I was also During the first quarter of 2022, I was really going through it. I had a client sue me. Her daughter's a celebrity. It was not fun. I had a couple other instances that I just was like, design isn't fun anymore.
Mhm.
And so with Notion becoming a certified consultant, it kind of just fell in my lap. And I had a conversation with my marketing director and I was like, look, like I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm over the design stuff. Look at like Notion signing off on me. Because we were getting Notion work before I became a certified consultant. So I had done several builds last year on top of oh my God, last year I built 28 websites, 17 brand packages, 9 Notion build outs. Like I worked an insane amount last year. And so that was also part of it is like, how can we monetize while also taking a back seat? How can we raise our prices? And really, again, like
Mhm.
I listen to data. I'm a data person. Like I will pivot every month if I have to because the data is telling me to, right? Like I don't hang on to things I don't need to hang on to. And so when I became a certified Notion consultant, we kind of sat down and we were just like, you know what? Let's just go all in Notion and software and automation and tech. Because the other thing is a lot of our data we were looking back at these branding projects and website projects, and more than half of our clients were asking us for business operation advice. Like,
Ooh.
how do I price this? How do I,
Mhm.
manage this process? And that was the majority of the work I was doing without
Mhm.
really realizing it in the moment. And so it was kind of a no-brainer. So in April, we shut down the design business and completely shifted to doing um deliverables would be Notion, Zapier automations,
Ooh,
things
fun.
like
Ooh.
that. But we've aligned ourselves as a systems design agency. So systems is the name of my business. And we have, all of these things that make up the systems within your brand. And I talk a lot about, every business has its own ecosystem, right? You have all these spokes that have to work together. And so we try to have all of our products, our one-on-one services align with making your ecosystem a well-oiled machine. I kind of always vision like two gears, right,
Yeah.
that are spinning
Mhm.
opposite, but they're working together.
Mhm.
And so we still do one-on-one work. We call it a systems reset. So like if you have systems and you're kind of like something's not working,
Mhm.
we go in, we audit, we test, we do all of those things, we rebuild for you. And then we have our super in-depth Notion builds, where I basically act as like your Notion IT tech
Ooh.
in-house for you and train your team members and build your system out. And we do design sprints and it's pretty crazy. But what we found through all of this is like our upped numbers, we were leaving out a lot of people that just couldn't afford to work with me. And so that was a big reason why I've launched a membership. We run it every quarter live for 6 weeks, and we focus on a specific area of your business. So it's a way to still work with me in a group setting, but every quarter we focus on, so like Q1 is just client onboarding, Q2 is client management, Q3 is client retention, retainer, and then Q4 is solely planning for the new year. So
Mhm.
upping your prices, cleaning out your processes. And so it's 6 weeks of live content bonus. You also get an accountability buddy, which is something that I always lacked in
Mhm.
programs I've taken in the past, is like, I don't want to just talk with the coach, right?
Mhm.
Like I wanna get to know the people in my space, and so I am pairing everybody with a complimentary service, so if you do branding, you'll get paired with a web designer, or a web designer will get paired with a copywriter, social media with branding, etcetera. So that way, like, people kinda know what your processes are and can really give you feedback. So they're all
Mhm.
testing their processes together, going through, upping them, implementing them, and then shipping them. So we have that. That's our club membership. And then, we have our Notion templates, which is a great product. And I'm just going to touch on this too. If you do service work, I kind of hate saying service based businesses. It's just so
I know,
long.
it's so
Yeah.
clunky. Yes, I totally
So,
agree. What is a better
uh,
name for this?
yeah. So I've really shifted to just saying client based businesses. So if
Mhm.
you are client focused, client facing, everything I do is going to be for you. Right.
Mhm.
But what we found in upping our prices is like, well, how can we, still touch everybody based on what they need and how? So when we had Notion for Designers, I never used it for client work. Like I never was like, how can I kind of finagle this as a lower ticket offer. But now with our template subscription with Systems OS, if you can't afford to work with me one on one for a Notion build, I actually have an automation set up when you apply to work with me and you don't hit the budget range that I need
Mhm.
you to hit. It will automatically send you an invitation to join our content subscription, which is
Oh, cool.
technically a digital product. And so then it's like, cool, you can do it a little bit of a DIY, but you can actually upgrade and get 30 days of one on one with me. So if you
Mhm.
need like any kind of support, so that's kind of our way of saying, okay, like we charge 20 grand now to work
Mhm.
with me. But if you can't afford that, here's a quick little like $1,500 offer
Mhm.
to get you in the door and kind of see where you're going. So that's what we do. And then, I have my personal brand, obviously, that I still take design projects every now and again, but I don't market. It's kind of
Mhm.
like if you knew I did design in the
Yes,
past or
yeah.
you
Mhm.
referred, like, here's this like little backdoor thing
Mhm.
that I'm happy to work on. But yeah, and I just create, create, create.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's and it sounds
Yeah.
like a lot of things. I'm like, "How does she
It
do
sounds
all of
like it,
these
but the
things?"
thing is they're all created. It's
Yes,
just a
yeah.
matter of clicking go live and updating
Mhm.
the funnels.
Yes, yes, yeah. Oh, I love that too, 'cause,
Yeah.
I don't know, the funnels are good. I feel like, I
Mhm.
don't know that enough people are using them. I'm
Mhm.
wondering about, service businesses, like, if they're actually using them, and if you
Mhm.
I just feel like, email marketing is so important,
Yeah.
building that audience around you, and the same thing, like you said, whoever knows what's going on Twitter and Facebook and
Mhm.
Instagram and all the
Yeah.
things out there, so,
Yeah,
um
and that's like the thing with a digital product, right? Is it's meant to be lower ticket. It's meant
Mhm,
to kind of be a little bit of a fix it and forget it in the sense that like you should be auditing it every 6 months, once a
mhm,
year to make sure that like things are doing
mhm,
well and it's
right,
what people want. But like you shouldn't be touching it, right?
mhm,
This should be literally making money in your sleep once you
mhm,
create it. And so like even my entry point to work with me is all automated. So I kind of treat it as like a digital product because it's a holding pattern. So when people apply to work with me, they get a Notion demo, they get a questionnaire that would have been in their onboarding. They get literally everything they could need. So that way, I don't even do discovery calls anymore. Like,
ooh,
you get this entire
nice,
thing, you read through it. If it all sounds good and you're cool with the budget, because I don't do value based pricing either. I
mhm,
don't believe in it. I think it's
mhm,
bullshit. We do flat rate. And so, like, this is the number I'm going to tell you on the call. So you better
mhm,
be ready for it. And so, all of my discovery calls are now booking calls. So I
oh,
don't
okay,
even like, I don't research clients beforehand. I don't do any of that.
mhm,
So I get on a call and it's like, okay, cool. You ready to go? What day do you want to start? Here's
mhm,
your contract. I make them pay a booking fee on that call to lock them in. And that's it. So, it's really, I've created this funnel kind of as a digital product. It's fix it, forget it. I
mhm,
only touch it when the links break or,
mhm,
I get feedback to change something. And that's when you start to automate the systems within your one on one, you start to free up so much time that you
mhm,
can look at stuff and say, oh, I should template this out. I should template that out. I get so many people who are like, how did you do website in a week last year? I built 27 websites last year. I had a new client every single 10 days. You know how I did it?
yeah,
I
that's a
created
lot,
digital products for myself, which were Squarespace templates.
mhm,
So I picked one internally, plugged in the data, and went on my way. So
mhm,
there's so many things you could do, and I could totally sell those, right? Like
mhm,
you could sell those if you wanted to. You could sell copywriting templates. If whatever you're doing one on one with clients as a process, chances are you can turn it into a product, whether it's
mhm,
free, low ticket, or I I personally don't believe in digital products that are over $100 unless it has a little bit of a one-on-one value.
like, time with you, yeah, yeah, and some people do it that way where they have it,
Yeah.
it's $50 or $70
Yep.
or whatever, but then it's, $300 because they get,
Mhm.
a half hour of your time or,
Yep.
a week of email support or things like that. I do like that as an option
Exactly.
for people.
Yeah.
I just feel like I like the ladder of options because
Yep.
maybe, you're just warming people up, and as their
Mhm.
budget increases maybe, or as they like you more and they find more money in
Mhm.
their budget, they can continue to work with you. If you only have one thing
Exactly.
and then the next rung on the ladder is so far up, like,
Mhm.
they might not you might lose them in between, so
Yep.
I
Yeah,
like
it's
the
gotta
the
kinda
ladder.
be like a no-brainer, right? Like,
Mhm,
if you're thinking about buying an iPhone and it's like you see one price for a 16 or like a 90 gig iPhone, and then you see the price for a 400 gig iPhone, it should be a no-brainer to just upgrade,
mhm,
It's that so that's, what it took me a while to understand about digital products is talking about the value, not the outcome. in terms of like the deliverables that you get, right? Like what is the
Yes.
value of this?
Yes.
And so like our lead magnet, our annual mapping workshop, you can buy the recording for $57 literally right now. But if you want a one-on-one call with me for me to actually plan with you, it's 497. And so it's like, okay, the value is either you get Sarah or you just do it by yourself. And hopefully
Mhm.
you don't have questions,
Right,
you know?
right. Mhm. But we're all terrible at the value thing. We're like
I
feature,
know.
feature, feature, and not
Mhm.
like value, value, value. I'm working with a
Mhm.
coach now too, and pretty much every week we're talking about the so that, right?
Mhm.
So I do this so that, and that's where the
Mhm.
value comes in, I think.
Yeah.
But yes, we're not good at that. We're good at doing the thing that we do, but
Mhm.
these are new skills, and I just think that that's so interesting. Like, that's the interesting part of business. We're not just working at, some, Joe Schmo office, just doing
Yep.
the thing that they're telling you to do. Like, you get to create this life. You get to create these processes. Like,
Mhm.
that's exciting that you get to do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah. No, it really is.
soapbox there.
And I think that's where a lot of people can, do really well with having a digital product is like, look at what you're already doing. Look at what
Mm-hmm.
you were missing. Look at what you and your friends in the industry are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is it constantly a headache on getting copy from your clients? Okay,
Yes.
then write a copywriting template and
Yes.
give it to people. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I think that's the thing is like digital products don't have to be public facing. You can create digital products internally
Mm-hmm.
that add value to your one-on-one offers. And I don't think a lot of people realize that the assets you provide internally for your clients are just as valuable as external facing products
Mm-hmm.
that are sold on Gumroad or Etsy or whatever other platform
Yeah,
there is,
anywhere. Yes, yeah, definitely, yes,
Mhm,
and creating those it just makes it easier for
mhm,
everyone, and even if they're
mhm.
upsells even too, like, that's even
Yep,
better, but it's making your
yep,
life easier, while
mhm,
adding that extra for the client. I don't know, I think they're win-win.
exactly.
That's why I'm
Oh,
creating
yeah,
this podcast.
totally. I love it.
All
I
about
love
digital.
talking about this stuff. I'm like, let's talk. Like, I've thought about, oh my gosh, I could talk about automations and systems all day
Yes,
long,
yes,
and all of this goes into it, as
mhm,
long as you have like a base thing for your digital product, like it doesn't have to be this crazy extensive
mhm,
funnel or this and that, like just capture their emails. And so
mhm,
when you're ready to do something, you have the contacts there,
mhm.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah,
So,
and don't be afraid to email them. I think a lot of people sometimes
yeah.
will collect the email and then they never email them. Like, what are you waiting for?
Yes.
I feel like it's so
Yep.
much easier to email a list with 10 people on it than
Mhm.
it is to email a list with 1,000 people, especially if
Mhm.
you haven't done it before. So, like,
Yes.
when it's just like your friends on the list, like it's easy, like
Mhm.
you're not going to be good at it yet. So,
Right.
dip your toe in,
Yep.
build that consistency and that process
Mhm.
and your voice, find your voice, all that stuff. That way, when you
Yep.
have 1,000 people on the list, those
Mhm.
emails actually sound good. So
Yes.
yeah,
And
that's my
also, like, treat your audience like you actually give a fuck about them. Like,
yes.
so many people are
Yeah.
so afraid to, like, ask for
Mhm,
feedback or ask for opinions.
mhm,
I have a very specific group of about 22 people that anytime I'm thinking about a new product or I'm thinking about changing a process, I literally emailed those 25 people and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? What is your opinion on this? And that will help shift, like, okay, is this worth even pursuing? Is it something that people want? And I think as freelancers, especially because, I mean, at least this was a struggle that I had, but I went cold turkey. Like, I went from working at this nonprofit since I was 18. I quit when I was 26. Like, I had no other professional development, nothing.
mhm,
Right. And all of a sudden now I'm on my own boss. Like, don't give me
mhm.
feedback. Like, don't,
Yeah.
I know everything. Right. Like, that was my mindset when I was first doing this. And so I was so afraid of constructive criticism for a very, very long time. And so, you know, if you can build a tight little group that you're not afraid if they
Mhm,
tell you that's a bad idea or, hey, like, what about this? Right? Like, what if you added this or tweaked
mhm.
this?
Or change that, right?
That is going to change the
Mhm,
trajectory of your products 100%.
mhm.
You have to have a close tight knit and ask for their feedback. Don't go posting in a Facebook group being
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm thinking
Right.
about this. Like, do not do that.
Yeah.
Find people that have bought something from you or even a free thing and keep that community close.
Mhm.
That's the best advice I could give anybody. trying to start is like, if you gave something for free and now you want to monetize it, ask them, how much would
Right.
you pay for this now that you've
Hmm.
had it? What would make you pay it? What
Hmm.
does it not have now that wouldn't make you pay for it? You
Right.
know?
Right.
3
They have the
questions.
answers. Yeah, because the
Yep.
things that sometimes we think, are just it's just not the way it goes.
Mhm.
Like even, sending an email to clients, you think they're going to respond a certain way. Don't assume. Don't
Never
assume because
assume. Nope.
people will surprise you.
Yep.
I'm constantly surprised. So yes, asking
Mhm.
people whose opinion you value, right? Yeah, like you said,
Yes.
don't just ask the masses because
Yeah,
there's
and
jerks
don't
out
ask
there.
your
But
mother because she's gonna be
yes,
like, "Honey, it's great. I love you so much." You know what I mean?
right.
Like, actually
Exactly.
ask people and two, like, ask people that are in complimentary spaces. I think
Mhm.
there's such this, like, "Oh my god, there's competition everywhere." Like, there's not, you
No,
know?
there's not.
If you're a web designer creating a product that would benefit somebody who's doing branding, but their client doesn't have money for a website and you're selling templates, partner with those people.
Mhm.
Like, allow them to become affiliates too, because there is no such thing as competition. Like, there's
There's
just
so
not. Like, you
many.
need to make friends.
Yes, billions of websites out there. There's so much work to be done. Yes, I
Yep.
totally agree. I
I
don't
will
think that
die on this
we're.
hill.
Yes,
Listen.
I totally agree with you. Yes, there's too, and I don't want to do all, 8 billion websites or however many
Yeah.
websites there are. Like, I
Yep.
just want to do the ones that I want to do. And then,
Mhm.
there's a lot of work to be done. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
No competition.
Yeah.
So
You
those,
have to break that mindset, you know?
yes, yeah.
So,
Mhm.
and if there is competition, take it and do it better. Just
Yes, well,
saying.
that too, yes. I just feel like as a freelancer, you have to really step into an abundance mindset because I
Yes.
think if you try to live in this scarcity mindset, like it's just
Mhm.
not going to go well for you. Like
Yep.
you have to believe that if you do good work and you show up every day, I feel like I'm getting sidetracked, but
Yeah.
if you
No, it's okay.
and you show up every day
Yeah.
and your intentions are good, that you want to
Mhm.
provide value to people, and
Mhm.
just do good things in the world, that things will come,
Mhm.
like, things will
Yeah.
come to you. You'll be able to do those things. But if you're
Yep.
afraid and you're like, "I don't know," and you're
Mhm.
hesitant, I think that,
Mhm.
the bad clients may come, and it's just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
Well,
have
and that
that
goes into
abundance.
the pricing too, right? Like, you
Mhm,
have to have the mindset that who your audience is.
mhm,
So for me, I grew up in not a financially, like, stable environment at all. And, I'm constantly having to check myself going, "Well, I wouldn't pay this much for this." Like, I can't afford to buy an $1,800 membership, right? Which
mhm,
is total bullshit. But, like, I think that's what a lot of people stop short on of actually making money on digital products is going, people don't my audience doesn't have money to pay for this, or,
mhm.
they're just starting in their freelance career. They're not going to want to invest in this. Well, that's what's going to hold you back.
Yes.
Like,
Mhm,
start small, sure, increase
mhm.
the price over time, but
Right.
that's part of that mindset that people have to shift in order
Mhm,
to make things work. Or, you're going to I fell into this cycle for a long time that I could not sell something over $97. Like, I just couldn't. I couldn't make the sales.
mhm,
And so I fell into this habit of, like, only doing a $27 product or a $57 product or a $67 with a coupon, And so you really have to really think about, what is the value? What are you
mhm.
providing? And the people that don't want to invest in it or literally can't, they're not part of your audience, and that's okay.
Right.
But we also need to remember that they are going to stay invisible clients and they're going to continue watching you
Mhm.
until they can afford to buy it. And so
Right.
making space for everybody in your mindset and also in your marketing is incredibly important.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of that for sure.
And
So it kind of sounds like you gave us some advice, but that's kind of my
sure,
closing ish question is the
sure.
2 to 3 things that you recommend for somebody.
Hmm.
So there are people out there who have not created anything.
Hmm.
They want to create a digital product.
Hmm.
What is your advice for them to either do or not do?
Yeah. First, audit, review everything you do.
Mhm.
Like, there are things that are staring you straight in the face that you could create as a product, but you're not seeing it on the market, or you are and you think that somebody already did it. Like, I can't do this. Like, think about, what are you consistently offering as value, whether, again, that's copywriting. Like, for me, I have, like, Notion templates for copywriting that was literally a wireframe for a homepage. It's like, fill in what you want here, fill in what you want there, fill in your services. You could turn that into a digital product. So, take the time, no tech. I call it closing the screens,
Mhm.
where you are just wholeheartedly diving into what you're doing and really think about, what is working well, what is not working well. What am I having issues with that I'm sure other people are having issues with? And then start to think about, okay, like, what is my commitment to this? Is it just like a PDF? Is it a video? What is the potential I see? Then go to your audience, your quick little 5-person go to, even if it's just one person, go to them and say, hey, what do you think about this? Get their feedback, get their opinion. Do not take it biasly. That is the number one, like, that's where most people end because they take shit personally. Don't take it personally. Edit, audit, and ship it. And just see how the world reacts to it. That's literally all you can do. And so I think the other thing is, like, again, we go back to mindset, right? Don't be afraid. If it doesn't sell, who the fuck cares? You created a product and you can edit it, reship it, right? Like, I did a launch on Product Hunt that, in my opinion, totally tanked. It did not do well. And so it's like, okay, like, I can relaunch on Product Hunt whenever I want. Like, that's the greatest part about being a creator on the internet. Nothing is permanent. You can
Yes.
redo things, you can
Right.
change prices, you can change description. Nothing is permanent. And so keeping that mindset, anything you create will be successful, you
Mhm.
know? So, and don't like be like, yeah, I'm gonna make 100 grand from this digital product.
Well, yes.
Take $1,000.
Yes,
Pay your
right.
car payment with it. Like,
Mhm.
that's always my goal is with something I create, what bill? What bill can
Mhm.
I make enough money to
Oh,
pay that bill on? You
that's
know,
cool.
so if it's a $50 product and you have a $200 car
Mhm.
payment, all you need is 4 sales. Call
Mhm.
it a day, you know? So, yeah, that was a lot of advice. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's
I
good, it's good.
listen,
I
I could
like
talk
it,
about
yeah.
this all
Yeah.
day.
I like it, it's good, yeah. Well, is there
Yeah,
anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanted to mention? I mean, you
I
did
don't
mention
think
some
so.
failed products, like, any lessons you
Yeah.
don't have to tell us, like, the specific
Yeah, it's
details,
okay.
any lessons from, like, the things that failed other than just, like,
Yeah.
pick back up and keep going,
Yeah.
try it again, try something else?
The ones that failed are the ones I didn't ask people's opinions on, and I shipped,
Okay.
and I was like, "I'm gonna build this sales page, and this is gonna be the
Mhm.
greatest thing ever." Didn't mention it once, never sold.
Okay,
So
that's
I'm
good.
telling
Yeah.
y'all, like, feedback,
Mhm.
feedback, feedback.
Mhm.
And I think too, the other things that failed, I created at one point a client communication toolbox because I was like, freelancers suck at communicating with clients. And I think I had like 4 buys on it and it went great, but I was like, I can do this better. And
Mhm.
so it turned into a different product, right? So it like failed kind of, but then we shipped it in a different way and things went better. And that's also the same thing too, is like, if it failed, it could literally as simply be the medium you're releasing it on.
Mhm.
PDFs don't do well anymore, right? Put it as a Notion page.
Mhm.
Ebooks don't sell as much. Record it. Put it on
Yes.
video. You don't even
People
need
love
to
a
show your
video.
face anymore. There are so
Mhm.
many AI tools. Just record it, you
Mhm.
know? And so thinking about your medium, if something fails, change the medium. If it
Mhm.
fails again, change the product.
Mhm.
Um, but other than that, I mean, I hang out a lot on Twitter. I've got my newsletter. Y'all can find me at the Sara Loretta literally everywhere. I have the same
Nice.
handle on everything. I make it easy. I am the only Sara Loretta out there. Well, I'm not,
Nice.
but I
Yeah.
mentally I am.
Yes.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, every podcast I'm on, if you've heard me on other shows, I mean this when I say it. My DMs are always open. It might take me a minute to respond, but I don't hold back. I don't believe really in paywalls. So if
Mhm.
you have questions, if you need support, shoot me a DM on any of those platforms and I'm happy to connect with you. So
Awesome, great.
I
Well,
feel
thank
like
you
I
so
like
much.
preach that. I'm like begging. I'm
Yeah.
like, please DM me. Like,
No.
I'm happy to help you.
I
you
think
know?
it's good. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think, like you said, even if just like one listener, one person is like really like, "Oh, I need that. I have a question." Like
Mhm.
just being able to kind of get to someone directly. I kind of like
Yep.
that about social media that you can actually get to people
Yeah.
and with a promise you'll respond. I think
Yeah.
that's great. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
I don't
yeah.
give a shit what your follower count is. I don't care what you're
Yes.
doing. Like I just
Yeah.
like I love people. I love people with good intentions. And I grew up an only child, so I will talk to you until I am blue in the face. I don't care who you are. So, I really mean that, y'all, when I say it. Like, if you need help creating a product or anything, like, I'm happy to help at any time.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. And
Thanks for
all
having
the
me.
links, yeah, will be in the show notes and we'll put all that together. And thank you again.
Thanks. Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for listening. I'd love to continue the conversation in your inbox. Email subscribe to hey@yfdp.show or sign up in the show notes to get bi-monthly emails about how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. Can't wait to see you there.